just when you thought the pain of being a West Ham fan is over, given that the season has now finished, the transfer window opens. Well, it's not even open yet, actually, not officially, but the rumours, speculation, talks, they are in full swing, absolutely. And I think as a West Ham fan, we've learned to hate this time of year. Not the transfer window itself necessarily, although that's been difficult at times, but this time in particular, where we just seem to be linked with every Tom, Dick, or Harry. I'm sure it's the same with other clubs, but it feels like West Ham in particular are just linked with everyone at this time of year, and you have to start questioning where those rumours are coming from. Whether it's lazy journalism, whether it's David Sullivan up to his own old tricks just to try and get more season ticket sales, or if there is genuine interest and that's a player that we're going to pursue. So for those of you that, you're not going to see my ugly mug too much now the season's over, I'm here to disappoint you. I have got a new, I don't want to call it show really, but I'm going to try and do a bit of a transfer roundup fairly regularly, maybe every couple of days, just to collect together the links, the rumours, the speculation, and just give you my thoughts on it, where I think it's come from, and if there's any genuine interest from my opinion, my understanding. Just to be clear at this point, because I know I can see the comments already, this is not an in the know. I don't have any intel from X. That is for Mark to provide updates, which I'm sure he will over the course of the next few weeks. This is just round up the speculation in case you've missed it, in case you've tried to avoid it. But yeah, just giving my thoughts on it. So I'll try and get these out as often as I can, really. I hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy them, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate it, and yeah, it'll be good to get these videos up and running with a bang. So, like I say, plenty of speculation, plenty of rumours. I'm sure you've seen most of it. The first one, which made me chuckle, was Kevin De Bruyne. Nice and ambitious start, and it is exactly that, a very, very ambitious move. He looks set to join Napoli, according to Fabrizio Romano, and it's just come out in the last couple of days that an unnamed, it was named a Premier League club, and that club was West Ham, showed interest in Kevin De Bruyne and actually made a move. Now, this for me sounds like absolute classic David Sullivan move to try and get season ticket sales. I might be wrong, but it feels like it's this kind of move that he knew that it wouldn't result to anything. He knew Kevin De Bruyne wouldn't join West Ham, but being even linked with a name like Kevin De Bruyne will just, prick a few West Ham fans' ears and think, oh, Kevin De Bruyne, and yeah, it feels like a very poor attempt to try and kid us fans that big things are happening this summer. I might be wrong about that, but that's just my opinion. And don't get me wrong, I would have absolutely loved to see Kevin De Bruyne in a West Ham shirt. He's been one of my favourite players outside of West Ham that has come into the Premier League. And it would have been just for the just to see him in a shirt. Obviously, he's 30, I think he's 33 now. He's obviously getting on. I don't think he's nearly the same player he was. But I think just to almost the novelty of seeing him on a West Ham shirt and play for us would have been a thing in itself. But yeah, I think not much to talk about here. Very ambitious move. I don't think it ever would have materialised into anything. And to be honest, I think it's just a David Sullivan little leak to the media just to get people thinking that West Ham are going to have a big window. Next one, which I think there is definitely interest, is Kelleher, the Liverpool goalkeeper. It looks like there's plenty of clubs interested in him this summer, and rightly so. When he's come in for Alisson, particularly last season, winning the league, he's just looks really good. I think calm, composed, obviously very young, and yet he looks just so experienced in the way he plays. He looks so calm, and I think for a modern day keeper, those are attributes that are really key, particularly if you want to play out the back, which I think Graham Potter wants to do. So I think Kelleher, just from, again, my opinion, would be a great buy if we could pull it off. Having said that, he looks likely to join Brentford at this stage. Apparently, Flecken is set to join Leverkusen. Erik ten Hag just joined Leverkusen, and he wants to take Flecken there, who's been a really good goalkeeper for Brentford this season, or last season. And they look, again, Brentford just doing things right, just well-run club, just bang, okay, Flecken's going out, Kelleher's coming in, great replacement. And Kelleher, to be honest, has probably a higher ceiling as well, so they could even improve on Flecken. So I think this one is one where we're going to lose out on quite quickly. I think Brentford, just in the nature of the club and how quickly they do things, I think this is going to, one that we're going to lose out on. It's been rumoured around 20 million quid, which is an absolute bargain in this day and age for a keeper that's young, only going to get better, only going to increase in value, and and improve as a keeper. So one that I would have loved to have seen. I do think a keeper is needed. Obviously, Fabianski going, but it feels like Areola. I reckon he's going to be the number one again. I'm not sure what I think about that, to be honest, but I think we'll probably bring in a number two, and obviously Kelleher doesn't fit that mould. So Kelleher looks set to join Brentford at this stage. Another one of long-standing interest, and one that's probably going to get more eyes on it as the weeks go on, or as the days go on, is Tammy Abraham. It feels like we've been linked with him on many occasions, and he was actually a player that I was massively keen on when he was at Chelsea, and that Chelsea wanted to offload him because they were bringing in, I think it was Lukaku, and we were looking for a striker. I think we just finished sixth. It was the season we finished sixth. We needed a striker going into the next season, and Abraham joined Roma, and he was linked with us that window. And I remember thinking he would have been perfect. I think he would have been absolutely perfect for Moyes' system. A target man in much that Schumacher and Haller was, but also he could run. He could actually run the channels, which is desperately what we needed for a counter-attacking side, and proven that he could score goals in the Premier League. I thought he would have been the perfect fit. It didn't happen. He went to Roma. Obviously had that terrible knee injury, which now he's got a bad injury record. Of course, West Ham want to sign him. That just makes sense, doesn't it? There does seem to be genuine interest from our side. One of the articles I read about it was he's the kind of player that Potter wants, which just suggests to me that it's not concrete. It's just the fact that he's the kind of profile of a striker that we're after. So I'm not sure how strong these rumours are and if this has got any legs in it. But it does, like I say, it does seem to be long-standing interest. I think it's one we just steer clear of, just given his injury record. It just baffles me that we're even linked with strikers who have a bad injury record. We should just, the most important ability for our next striker has got to be availability. And if we need to get someone that can play 38 games in the Premier League next season, not someone that is going to come in, look promising, and then get injured, and we never see them in a West Ham shirt again. So I hope this one doesn't happen. I think it's a little bit of lazy journalism at this stage. He's been linked before. One of those that just pops up, but it does seem to be long-standing interest, like I say. So that's the main three that have sort of come about. There is further rumours about other players. McAtee, again, we talked about from Man City. Again, definitely seems a player that there is interest in. And same with Frendrup. Mark did a video about Frendrup, and that seems like a really realistic one that could happen. So I think them two, McAtee and Frendrup, seem like both ones to keep an eye on. I think they're both good players. I haven't obviously seen as much of Frendrup as I have McAtee. I do like McAtee. The only concern I have there is in that sort of position in midfield, like attacking midfield, I feel like we're just really lacking some pace and power. And I don't think McAtee really ticks any of those boxes. He's obviously a really talented player, technically very gifted, but I'm not sure he ticks those boxes in terms of being able to just help us get out the pitch, run with the ball. But I do think he's a very good player. And same with Frendrup. He's obviously got amazing stats from this season in terms of tackling, winning the ball back. So I think there's plenty to like about him. But again, with a player coming in from Serie A, it's how he fits in the Premier League. But I do think those have there's genuine interest there. There's genuine sort of talks that could start happening soon. So I think both of those are ones to keep an eye on. But the others, I think, at this time of year, like I say, what I'm trying to do with this sort of type of video is just give a quite fairly sort of balanced and open and honest opinion. It's funny, like last summer, we obviously, I think all of us a little bit got carried away with the summer window and excited about all the players we were bringing in. I do like to think that I was fairly level-headed even at that stage, and that I felt like it wasn't as good as some people were making out. I remember that when I think the last few deals sort of got done, people started doing their starting 11. I saw it particularly on X. and people going, oh yeah, this is our starting 11 going into the season, and it always makes me laugh when people do those kind of things, because I think you're assuming every signing that we've made is going to be a success. Now, even at the top clubs, that doesn't happen. Even at the really well-run clubs, that doesn't happen. They probably have a 80-90% hit rate. We probably have about a 20% hit rate. So the idea that we are going to bring all these players in like we did last summer, and they're all going to hit the ground running and go straight into a starting 11 that's going to completely click and start performing really well, is just it makes me laugh when I see those. And most of them haven't panned out, and it's only a couple that have really looked like decent signings in the end, Aaron Wan-Bissaka being the main one. So yeah, I like to think that hopefully these videos will just provide a little bit of a honest, realistic opinion rather than getting carried away. I don't want to be positive for the sake of it and be like, oh, I've been linked with him, that'll be great, can't wait till he joins. But I also don't want to be negative for the sake of it. I don't want to be overly negative, but just a fairly balanced opinion of where I think these moves are coming from, what I think of the source, if I think there's any actual interest there and any hope of it happening, and whether I would like them to join the club. So hopefully you liked this video. I'll try and provide these as often as I can. If you did like them, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so. And I'll see you on the next one. Up the hammers.